Hey, Facebook Live, this is David and Adrian. We're here today to kind of talk to you guys about what's been going on in our life, in our world. We're very happy, dear God, to be in the presence of each other. We've been away from each other through a door for almost like 2 weeks now. She came out of the room 2 weeks ago. I mean, she went in she went in the room 2 weeks ago on what was that?
Friday.
On Friday, and she got really sick. I mean, you can tell kind of what was happening with you.
Pretty much on Friday, I was watching a movie with my kids, and I started to get cold. And I looked around the room, and I could tell that everybody had blankets. So I was like, all right, the room is just cold. But then it kind of got into my bones, kind of cold. So I called him. He was at work, as usual. And I was like, as soon as you're done, come home. I got to go to sleep. I'll make sure the kids are in the house, the doors are locked, and I went to sleep. And then when you came home, you woke me up and said I was burning up with a fever. So then I took some Tylenol, and sometime that night I woke up and my sheets were like wet, so I guess I had broke the fever. And then the next day I got up, washed the sheets, blankets, and then I made the bed and never got out of the bed again that whole day. Just achy, like flu-like, kind of like a truck hit me. And then that night I had a fever again. Next day, pretty much the same thing, and a fever. And then I think by that like third, fourth day, the fever was gone, and I was cleaning the closet and moving around. But I took a lot of hot showers, and that helped me loosen up the congestion, like probably 4 or 5 hot showers every night. So I was clean. And
Yeah, we're gonna feel that bill when that whenever that bill comes in. We'll talk about
but
that.
in the midst of all that, I called my doctor, and he said because my fever wasn't high that I couldn't get the test, but he said to quarantine away from my family for 14 days just to be sure. So that's what I did.
Yeah, and that was a long 2 weeks. I think this has probably been the longest that I know I have been around the kids consistently for 2 weeks in a row by myself, kind of working with doing homework, trying to do the business. How did it feel? I mean, for you to be on the other side of the wall or on the side of the door, listening to everything, but really can't come out and help. How did that make you feel?
I like to hear the way you interacted with the kids, because I knew that when they said, hey, Dad, could you, that would have been, hey, Mom, could you? So you got to do things that you probably would have never done with them because they asked me everything. And I just like, sometimes you just did it, and sometimes you explain stuff. And I don't know, I just like to hear you interact with the kids the way you did. I know that you were doing a lot of cooking. Not cleaning, because when I came out yesterday, when I came out, I was like, wow, he cooked and he kept the kids alive, but this house needs a whole rehaul.
Yeah, it's just like perspective. For me, it was I was trying to keep the whole house afloat. Whether it came down to whether or not something was picked up, or whether or not the cabinets was clean the way that it was supposed to. Sometimes you just got to pick your battles, and so with me, the battle was homework. The battle was just trying to keep them from arguing with each other, and honestly, it was just fun, just kind of just hanging out with them, because I knew that anything that we talked about was a good conversation. I loved just hanging out with them and just kind of seeing where they were at in their life. Because so many times we were just kind of flying past each other, running each other to practice, trying to get everybody to appointments and dentist appointments and everything else. So this was a good time for us just to hang out, just father and son, and just kind of get to know each other. This takes us back to whenever we first started dating. When we started dating, or when we first met each other, honestly, right after we met each other, we lived in long distance relationship. You were in New York, I was in Houston, and we lived like that for probably about a year. So we lived like that for probably about a year, and it's amazing how we first met. Like I was in the midst of breaking up with somebody. I had been broken up probably about a month or so. And I was kind of depressed sitting in the house, and my brother, a couple of my fraternity brothers came by and picked me up and just kind of told me, hey, I want you to come out. Let's go do something. Let's go watch a baseball game at Dave and Buster's. And then, you know, I decided not to just be miserable and to get up and put some clothes on and get out of the house. Adrian, you could tell how you got to Houston. How did you get to Houston?
I was riding my motorcycle, and I did the number one thing you're not supposed to. I think it was like a squirrel or something ran in front of me, and I, tightened up on the brakes and fishtailed and ended up in a bush, and I bruised my tailbone, so I was sitting on like a donut. And my best friend, Tamika in Texas, hi Tamika, was like, why don't you come out to Texas? I've been asking you for years, because we went to high school together, and that's where she's originally from. So I was like, all right, I have off of work a week, I have off of college, I'll go out there. But I had just got out of a 5-year relationship. I actually just got back from living in Italy for college, and when I went to Italy, I had a great boyfriend, and then when I came back, it was just, I guess I had changed and everything, so we broke up. And I said to my best friend, if I come out there, I do not want to hang out with guys. I don't want to go to clubs. I don't want to meet guys. Like, just let's have a girls' trip. I need to just focus. And the first night we were out, I wanted to watch the Yankees play. And she said, they'll only play the Astros, but I used to work at Dave & Buster's. If we go there, the bartender could change it to the Yankees game for you. And that's how I ended up at Dave & Buster's that night. Yeah,
and so what happened was I sat down with my friends, and we were sitting down. I was waiting to watch the Houston game, the Astros game. So I asked the bartender to change the channel to the Astros game. As I'm watching the Astro game, all of a sudden, this is from my perspective, the TV changed to the Yankees, and I was like, why would the TV be changing to the Yankees whenever we're in Houston watching the Astros? So the bartender changed it back from the Yankees to the Astros, and by this time, this flip-flop of the TVs happened like 2 or 3 times. I was just like, why? And then he points down to Adrian and said, she wants to watch the Yankees game. You need to pick it up with her. So I don't remember how we got to the point where we talked.
Everybody was sitting, and there was no seat left for you at the end, but there was an empty one next to me.
Oh,
so
yeah.
You came over and said, could you shift so we could all move and I could sit? And I rolled my eyes at you.
Oh, okay.
And then you were like, oh, I knew you weren't a Southern Belle or something because of the attitude. Something like that.
Yeah. And so long story short, I mean, we hung out, we talked, we played video games, and then we disconnected from each other on that night, and I remember you were saying,
no, you asked me for my phone number.
Okay, I asked you for your phone number. You said no.
Things.
What?
And I told you 3 things.
What?
You don't remember the 3 things I told you?
Oh yeah. She pretty much says she don't date black people. She
black people, black guys.
Black guys.
Nothing, my friends are all black. I just grew up Italian, and that's my type.
And what was it? What else?
I live on the East Coast, and I'm only here for a week.
Exactly. And so what
did you say to me?
No. What happened was you said my father would never agree with something like this. No,
that was that's after we hung out and you were dropping me back off.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
So.
But you did say to me, I'll tell you that the day we get married.
That's what I did. I told her the first day that we met. I said, I'm gonna remind you of all 3 of those things whenever we get married. Yeah. And so
you did.
Yeah, and I did remind her.
Microphone at the wedding.
Yeah, and so long story short, we ended up hanging out the rest of that weekend, and that week you flew back. We talked, we hung out for until what? No, I think you came back in May, and then you asked me to come out to New York because I had never been to New York. You set up the Seinfeld tour because I love, and we went to go to
Jersey
Bellagio.
Shore,
Yeah, so all that was fun. So We started out together on some strange stuff. We've been together in some strange situations. Um, she, we dated for apart for what, probably about a year, and then we came back together, and then ended up fast forward and getting married, and we've been together what, 13 years, 12, 13 years.
13 this July.
Yeah, yeah. So whenever it comes down to being quarantined, her being away for 2 weeks, I just always know that regardless of how much distance we have with each other, I know that it's always gonna come back together. You know what I mean? I think with God in between us, just like a three chord, it can never be broken. We've had some situations where we've been tested, and we've came out of those. So we just want to tell you, as the people, that we go through things, and we fight for it. We fight for our marriage. We fight for our kids. Even though we're on the opposite side of a door for 2 weeks, it just doesn't change. Am I correct?
Yeah.
And that's what life is about. Life is all about going through a struggle and coming out of that struggle. And with that, we've and to be honest, we want to give a shout out to the Donks. I think they were an awesome part of our story, because there was a point in time when we were going through a rough patch. We stopped being on the same team. We started kind of fighting each other, and so they helped us recalibrate with the Marriage Resource Center. I think that was a whole blessing for us to get involved with, because they came in and really worked with us to get our family back together. So through that, we're still counting years. We're still having a good time. And just because we have the corona in our society, it doesn't change our home nucleus. So we want to stay tight, we want to stay close, and we want to keep on loving you guys. And we're just going to keep on doing what we're doing, serving the community, loving God, and with the Cadillac Counselor, we definitely want to reach out and get the word out that recovery is possible. Mental health is not something that we need to be scared of, because we can create a better stigma across our society, and that's what we as the Brooks family are going to do and continue to do, is serve you guys and to love you guys. Am I correct?
Mm-hmm.
Anything you got to say before we go?
Why not? I think you were saying like some boredom busters, some of the things that we did when we were away from each other in the quarantine.
Yeah, tell them what you were doing.
Well, you and I were playing music to each other through you played a song that had something to do with our relationship, and I played one, and we went back and forth probably for like 30 minutes.
Yeah.
Played the different wedding songs. We had one that we danced to, one that we had a choreographed dance to. You might have to show everybody that one time with those moves and the basket weave and all.
No, we're not doing that.
And then every night with my kids, I would talk to them through the door, and then we played Name That Tune, or I would sing to them and definitely pray to them. We played Words with Friends.
Yeah, we played many games of Word with Friends. So
I'm on top with the most wins. So.
Maybe one or two. But to save the marriage, we'll just allow her to take the win. But no, she has been beating me a little bit more than what I have.
And then you fed me. I have to say that was a blessing. Like every day, he would have lunch behind the door and dinner, because I didn't want to start off with breakfast just too much. And the one time he made me broccoli like florets, and he gave me this mug with yellow stuff in it. And I was like, oh wow, he made homemade cheddar broccoli soup. So I'm thinking, and it was only half full. I should have known, instead of like a whole bowl of soup would have been full to the top. Anyway, so I'm drinking.
It was to dip the broccoli into the cheese.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
So I'm drinking it like it's soup, and then eating my broccoli. And then later I called him. I was like, that soup was amazing. Could you send up more? And he was like, that was a whole bunch of melted Velveeta cheese.
I mean,
I don't know. That's hilarious to me, because I'm like, oh man, I just drank cheese.
I'm going to put it to you like this. My cooking is so good that she would drink the cheese and think that it was gourmet soup. So, hey, regardless of how it came out, it was eaten, it was edible. So, But I mean, it was just. I mean, we knew it was 2 weeks, and we just figured it out.
Day by day, and you just have to, I don't know, just find things to keep you busy. I know this is hard for a lot of people. I think we're blessed in the fact that we don't suffer with anxiety and different things, and our faith helps us to get through every day. I watched my church every day. They either live music from Pete and Jess or Pastor Benny and the church doing the live feed, and Pastor Kelly. So just, you got to find something to help you get through the day, because, the next day is going to have its own thing. So just.
Yeah, the thing that we have a scripture. I know for me, I have my favorite scripture. 1 Corinthians 2:9. No eyes have seen, no ears have heard, no heart can conceive those things that God has prepared for those that love Him. And we believe that, and we believe that God has something prepared for us, something that's amazing, something that we've never seen before, something we've never heard before, and even stuff that our heart can't even conceive. And especially with the Cadillac Counselor, like, I could have never imagined this to have caught so much gravity and so much pull in 1 week, really 1.5 weeks since you've been quarantined. So it's good to have you out so that you can be part of this with me. You got me? So we love you guys. Hope you guys catch up with us on next week. On tomorrow. I'll still be going. And as long as I'm here with my wife and with the kids, we're going to have a good time with you guys. All right. So have fun. Love on your family.
Love you guys.
And thank you guys for being part of our process. Okay. So signing out, Cadillac Counselor. All right.